How do titles like anxiety and shyness or introversion impact my happiness? I was a psychology student at the University of Southern California, and there was a phenomenon known as the first-year psychology student syndrome, where as we're looking at all the abnormal psychological disorders like OCD, ADD, ADHD, anxiety, and other things, we begin to identify with each and every one of those disorders, despite the fact that, like I wrote earlier, social anxiety has about a 7% prevalence in all of American adults, and generalized anxiety has only 3%. And that's because these are excessive, persistent symptoms that continue over a span of about 6 months on a daily basis with very specific symptoms and criteria according to the diagnostic manual a psychiatrist would use. But when I'm looking at it casually as an observer, especially if I'm just part of the general public, don't have a psychological education or background, I could easily think, oh, I like to be organized, I must be OCD. Or, oh, I have some sensitivities in social situations, I might have social anxiety, I might be shy or introverted. Those terms are thrown around so casually today. The problem is, I begin to identify with the title and the label. And now I have attached a general idea to my identity, which now becomes self-reinforcing as I go through my experience of life. I don't look at the specific behaviors or misbehaviors that make up the title, in this case of anxiety or shyness or introversion. Instead, I stay up with the title and everything else follows. So what I do when I work with people is I look at the specific indicators or symptoms that make up that individual's belief that they have this title, this disorder, this problem. And when we look at the specifics and we stay away from the generalities and the vague idea and the titles, we can confront one by one those specific behaviors that would allow a person to go from their internal belief of being shy or introverted to having a new identity and a new path, what we call the highway of happiness, to something where they can be courageous, they can be social, they can be whatever it is they would like to be. Sometimes, by the way, there might not even be a major change, but it is the belief and the perception of what they're doing or not doing, because we've looked at the specifics, that creates a whole new idea of what that identity can be. Stay happy, y'all.